do it live. Okay. Well, do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike your match, and oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling. This show originates from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire, fun, and frivolity show. If you want to keep up with the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all of that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you can get the newsletter. Originally, a number of weeks ago, actually, if you go back and look for it, maybe a month or two ago, I put out a link through a number of social media channels that said, if you have a product, if you have a service that's barbecue or grilling related, or you have a great live fire story that you want to get across, use this link and book yourself on the show. It's worked like gangbusters, except for tonight when somebody decided to come on at 9:14, and then last Wednesday when I started reaching out, trying to set up sound checks, there was 0 answers back, and then Friday there were 0 answers back, and then on Saturday I had to flex a little muscle and said, we got to get something on the sound check board, otherwise at the end of Sunday you're out. Hit the bricks, pal, and beat it. Well, guess what? There was no answer back, so I had to backfill the segment this evening. And joining me in the first segment, 9:14, you saw him maybe a month or so ago, believe it or not, the brains behind Mr. Brisket and the pitmaster of Go Big or Go Barbecue, Aaron Huntelman, is joining us. And there's Aaron in studio. So let's just get a quick sound check. Aaron, how are you tonight? Stand by. Just trying to think of how we pivot from here. All right, stand by. How about now? All right, we're going to have to go to the headset. Stand by. Okay, how about now?
I got nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're good.
Now we're good?
Here we are.
All right.
We're checked in.
Oh.
Live TV, folks.
This is extremely bizarre because literally 10 minutes ago,
We tested.
everything was fine. Like, better than fine. It's very fine.
Blew me away.
All right, now I have to adjust your level this way and see where we're at because I don't think I have the right thing on there. So, all right. So thank you for filling in. Did you have anything better going on tonight?
No. There's no new Kardashians with the wife tonight, so.
Are you a Kardashians fan?
No.
Oh.
I'm a happy wife fan.
Yes, who isn't? Of course. So, Aaron Huntelman is sitting in for the show again this evening, so we're happy to have him. 35 past the first hour. Wes Wright is coming back, cookoutnews.com. And in the second hour, we have quarterly guest Jess Pryles coming in, and then rounding out the show, first-timer, the pitmaster of Grork Boys Barbecue. He was on Next Level Chef. Matt Grork is coming on, Embers TV associated as well. So that's what's happening here this evening. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, X, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat at BBQ Central Show. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of the video streaming platforms of Facebook or Twitch. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, which can be found at youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. And we have a YouTube poll question of the week, and I'm asking everybody this. Between the two, which was the bigger barbecue story in 2023, Memphis and May's damage or the American Royal Open scoring? And currently 77% of you are saying the American Royal scoring. And we start here this evening. Just a quick update on the aforementioned American Royal scoring issue from a few weeks back. There's been no segment booked with KCBS CEO Rod Gray as of right now on this show. I will continue to wait for a yes or no, and I won't be letting go because, quite honestly, this is a big deal. It demands to be addressed in this type of format, not just by KCBS writing press releases and steering the narrative. I will continue to ask for a segment. We'll keep you updated on the progress of that. I'll also continue to talk to teams that were there and that were affected. Additionally, I've reached out to the American Royal itself to see if they have any type of official comment or statement about what happened, because there is a bit of a taint on everybody involved. So I want to make sure everybody has the ability to comment if they want to. But I currently have no reply back from the person from the American Royal who would make a comment if they were going to make a comment. So there's that update. And then we have an update from the other ongoing barbecue saga, which is the Memphis and May damage saga. Well, after the votes were tallied a couple weeks ago, the 2024 version of the event is going to be at Tiger Lane. Additionally, at least for 2024, the music festival portion of this event has been put on hold. I think there's a real fear that no one will go to this event or that portion of the event since it's not right at the end of Beale Street, which is what they have counted on in the past for that walk-in foot traffic. That's not going to be the case at the new location. And lastly, I know Mark Williams mentioned it during his segment beginning of the month, but I've also heard from many other pitmasters and competitors who take place in Memphis and May every year, and they say that this location specifically, apparently, allegedly, reportedly, not known to be the safest location. But this is the spot that over 70% of the barbecue competitors voted on to have the Memphis and May 2024. We'll continue to follow that as it develops as well. So now I think we're all caught up. I have no idea what the hell happened with that microphone. It just died on me. The second microphone died. I'm going to lean towards a cord. But we're not going to test it out anymore, I can tell you that. We're back to the headset, so if it's clicking, I don't want to hear about it. It's evasive maneuvers here in the first hour, for crying out loud. All right, we'll have more Aaron Huntelman here in just a second. Are you tired of settling for mediocre grilling experiences. Time to step up your game and bring the ultimate flavor and the ultimate cooker to the backyard barbecues. Pits and Spits Charcoal Grills, offering the highest quality live fire cooking experience you can get in the market today. Using either wood or charcoal, their solid fuel grills produce those classic flavors you're looking for when you have the time to fire up the grill and cook for your family and friends. With a large adjustable fuel tray, you can raise and lower the fire to control and fine-tune the heat. It's their take on the very popular Santa Maria style grill. You can check them out online at pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. Once again, that's pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. And the Pits in the Spits is spelled with the double T on the Pits and the Spits as you're checking out, because you've purchased a brand new charcoal grill on the Pits and Spits website. Save yourself $150 off on me by using the promo code Charcoal Central, all one word. That's right. When you put on the charcoal grill in your cart and you're checking out, save $150. It wasn't like free money. Charcoal Central is the code to use at checkout. Get $150 off any charcoal grill, and you can peruse the offerings at pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. That's pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. Good folks over at Pits and Spits. We'll be back with the pitmaster of Go Big or Go Barbecue, Aaron Huntleman, right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by CookinPellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. You visit CookinPellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also visit Amazon.com to purchase as well. In fact, highly recommended. Or Lowe's.com or Walmart.com. Use CookinPellets.com to purchase under extreme emergencies only. Otherwise, go to Amazon, Lowe's, or Walmart. Same great selection, great shipping rates that Cookin' Pellets can offer you. But they certainly appreciate your support by buying from one of their specialized vendors. Very big outfits, by the way. Chris Becker and the gang over at CookinPellets.com. All right, as I had mentioned in the open, before we had the technical issues that we were working through feverishly, we have them in studio once again. Our pal Aaron Huntleman from Go Big or Go Barbecue. Aaron, appreciate you filling in. I mean, you would never think in your wildest dream you would commit to the show and then go radio silent a week and a half in advance of the segment and then a total no-show.
No. When you asked me, I told my wife, I said, I can't turn on an invite from Greg, so.
Even if it was last second?
No, I'd figure it out.
This guy put in time and effort
to fill it out.
And then, no, not showing up. I'm not going to communicate. I'm not going to, no names, please. And to make it even worse, salt in the wound. This is an Ohio-based company that was going to be on, believe it or not.
Ghosted you.
There's only one good thing coming out of Southern Ohio besides you, and that's Mike Lang.
Yeah.
Another plank, please. Cool. All right, we have a YouTube poll question of the week, Aaron, that I'm asking everybody. You're here, so might as well ask you. Between the two, which was the bigger barbecue story of 2023, the Memphis in May damage saga or the American Royal open scoring saga?
Has to be the American Royal.
Has to be. Because it's the biggest?
The biggest. And I think the Memphis in May was, they kind of knew it was coming just from the drama coming up from it in a sense.
And it's still going.
Yeah.
The American Royal's still going too. I fear for both. I'll be honest. I fear for the American Royal, not that I think it's necessarily going to happen again. I hope, but I fear that there's going to be a thought of we're just going to put our head down and we've written our press releases and that's good enough. And we're not going to go on any other podcast or any other show to talk about it and answer questions or anything like that. This is how we're going to handle it. And we'll just weather the heat storm. And we hope that in a week or two, like everything in a news cycle, it goes away and something bigger and better will be there to take its place and we'll forget about it. But I do know that I have talked with some other folks and there's a thought to at least keep it on the hearts and minds of those that were affected by it. And at least on my show, I'll continue to mention it and reach out to those to try and secure interviews. I mean, that's an interview you would like to hear. I would imagine you're a competitor.
Yeah, I'd like to know what happened and just an explanation and how do you prevent it from next time? I mean, that was crazy to see the one team I follow, Machete Boys, get the championship and then like woke up a day and a half later, whatever it was, and saw like, no, actually the 5th place team was congratulations to them too, but it was like, that's just a crazy thing to happen.
I'm hearing it. You're probably not hearing it.
Is this on now?
No. But we're gonna do another headset change here.
All right.
Stand by. Oh my God. Kill me now.
It's my fault. It's the size of my head and the ears, I think.
Is it worse? I think that one's worse. We're going back to the other one. Stand by. No, that one's definitely not working. What a nightmare this is.
Here we are. I should have stayed at the house to use the old headphones.
Yeah,
there.
no kidding. Sheesh. So where were we? We were talking about first or second place?
Yeah,
all right.
Royal.
So you went to a first year competition or first time competition about 45 minutes south of us here in the booming metropolis of Wadsworth, Ohio this past weekend.
Yep.
How does that go?
For us, not great. As a team, as a Mr. Brisket, it went really well. We had 4 teams take in top 10 calls overall with our competition box. We had 3 top 10 calls in chicken, 4 in ribs, 5 in pork, and 3 in brisket using our meats.
Were you instrumental in putting this competition together, or you just heard about it, or?
Not instrumental in putting it together. I was instrumental in Mr. Brisket sponsoring the brisket category and us getting a little more involved than me just competing in it.
How many teams?
20.
Go up. 20 teams.
20 teams and 20, really heavy hitters for the area, Michigan, Ohio. Good. We had, I think, Paul Bob, who won, who GC'd it. He's top 20 in the country. So, I mean.
Is that his team name, Paul Bob?
No, a Smoking Ghost.
Oh, Smoking Ghost. All right.
Yeah.
Were there more than 20 teams at one point?
No, they capped it at 20. Infrastructure.
Who puts it on?
That was through the Wadsworth Municipal Airport. Doyle Mullins owns New World Spices down there. He was the main guy putting it on.
New World Spices?
Yeah. It's a new business. I think he's like a year into it. He blends spices and teas and things.
This isn't the same place that Harry Sue uses in Chagrin Falls, right?
No, I don't think so.
All right. All in all, very well run contest. I mean, you've done a handful of.
Yeah, I mean, for a first year contest, they had ice for us. They had They had not only porta potties, but they had an open building with warm bathrooms and a place to sit to get out of the rain. The only thing, we had to use biodegradable boxes, so they weren't styrofoam. The airport just liked it, not having styrofoam near aircraft and things like that. And they're fans of the farmers, and I guess the soybeans that get used for the boxes are grown in Ohio. So they were fans of that, and it was a little bit of a pivot because when you try to weigh down the kale, it kind of spread the box. So I couldn't keep the box closed when we were going to turn it in. So it was kind of a hold and pray and turn it in kind of thing. But, beyond that, it was, we were in grass and it wasn't muddy, for how much rain we got. That's all I was worried about, being in a tent.
Are you a multiple cooker team or you just run the Traeger?
Then we got the Traeger. I started on an Oklahoma Joe Bronco and a pit barrel cooker junior for the brisket this year.
Oh, that worked out.
Really, I liked how it cooked the brisket. You kind of just set it and see how hot it. I mean, it was running like 350, I think, is what my probe was reading on the pit barrel. So it was really to puff it up, get some color, get some smoke, and then when I was ready to wrap, it went on the Traeger.
You smoked chunks or wood chunks in there?
I threw a couple of wood chunks, a couple of chunks of hickory in there.
Not over smoky?
No, not really. No, the pork got a comment card for being overly smoky off the Oklahoma Joe. So,
what kind of wood are you using?
Royal Oak charcoal lump, and then hickory, just the bag stuff from like Lowe's, the Cowboy brand.
You ever try apple instead? It's supposed to be a lighter smoke because it's a fruit wood.
Yeah, but it wasn't on sale. So
there's no cost or budget here during competition there.
Yeah.
We pay to win. You're worried about wood?
No,
but you're
I
buying
just saw
prime
it
brisket.
I just saw it on sale and just grabbed it. Said, "Oh, this will work."
Rich Morris is watching, and he said, "Great job for a first-year event. He would come back."
Yep.
Did they say in its second year they would double size, or what would they be looking for from a team count?
Doyle wants to grow up to 30 or 40, I think, next year. And I said, I know he wants to do like 2 or 3 events down there. And he supposedly wants like one of the events to be at least 100 teams, which they have.
100 teams?
That's what he says.
There's going to be no KCBS event at 100 teams. Not here.
Not in Ohio.
No way.
I mean,
there's hardly 100 teams anywhere, period.
Yeah. I mean, that's a Texas
totally
thing.
I was going to say, you go down to Texas, you get 100.
I like the enthusiasm, but, I can't trim 100 teams chicken thighs.
I mean, you could.
I could. It would take me time, but we get it done. We have a Robbie now. Robbie's our new chicken thigh guy at Mr. Brisket. I can walk away, and he does a great job.
I thought there was 3 of you guys doing that.
There was, but we were just busy. So we brought in Robbie as a part-time guy, and he really picked up on what I'm looking for on the thighs, and he's kind of ran with it.
Gordon Thompson wants to know if there's going to be any SCA events there next year.
I got to kind of poke Doyle and see if we can't get one. Even if Mr. Brisket runs that
Who's
portion. Doyle Mullins, he's the guy who runs it, I guess. He worked for NASCAR for a while, did the catering for NASCAR, so he has experience in large crowd events. So, I mean, from that standpoint, he did a great job, and I'm appreciative of him getting one. This is the closest one we had to home since I lived in Cincinnati, and we were doing ones, downtown.
So are you just butting in and telling this guy what he should do, or is he soliciting your feedback?
He's getting feedback. No, he was walking around.
I know he's getting it, but is he asking for it?
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, this is Aaron. He's going to help me grow this." So I feel to be like I'm getting volunteered into things, but
sometimes volunteering means you're not getting paid. We don't like that. I am a firm proselytizer of if you have any type of expertise, you make sure you get paid first. And we're changing the narrative in the barbecue world here, folks. For all you people out there that are doing stuff for free or you're getting free rub or something like stop it. You're ruining it for everybody. You're a professional. You should be getting paid like a professional and stop volunteering for free.
Yeah.
This is really going to pay off. But barbecue and payoff doesn't usually run in sentences that are the same.
When everybody asks, well, do you like competition barbecue? I said, well, you take $1,000. You catch it on fire, and if you're okay and happy with that, then yeah, come and join.
It's like BOAT. You know what BOAT stands for, right?
Bust out another 1,000.
That's right. By the way, competition legend, new legend, Josh Leonard is in the house tonight.
Oh, Josh.
Kicked your ass.
He did.
At Hartville Hardware.
He kicked everybody's ass. I think he had 2 points on second place.
Yeah, he was real big on...
and he won our SCA competition.
He was Big Green Egg,
too.
right?
Yeah, he broke the streak.
Yeah, he had a huge lead. He dominated the other Big Green Eggers, but he was well ahead of the Weber and the Traeger aspect as well. So glad to see he's in the chat. He said he suggested a steak contest to Doyle as well. Would a steak contest do better than the barbecue competition, you think?
I think just from experience running steak competitions for 2 years, our steak teams travel better. And it's it's not as much of a commitment financially to come and do a steak competition, but the commitment financially versus the payout's better. And I think the payout on steak competitions, I think if you're doing a double, I think we're like, $6,000 in the prize money for a double. So, there's plenty of money to be won in a steak competition.
What winner get in payout last weekend?
I don't know. That was one thing I didn't see it put anywhere. And once I kind of got my scores, I kind of got in the car and put my head down and drove home. So I really wasn't too worried about it, but I don't know. If Nick Owensby pops in, he might know. He kind of helped get this thing going, so he might have a better idea.
Are you using only your sauce and rubs in competitions?
No, I'm mixing in. I'm really a big fan of the T9 line, the 999 line that's in the Barbecue Superstore, Rich Parker's brand, and then I use Heath Riles and a little bit of Malcolm Reed, and just kind of roll and see what happens. But I think this off season, I'm gonna kind of commit to looking to see what we can do to turn some scores around.
Did you have any concerns about the scoring this past weekend, and if it was accurate?
Sure, I'd like to not have the scores I have, but no, they were no. The judges we had and the people running the judging area are really good. Cliff Brockman, he's the local guy over here in Strongsville. Him and his wife are really great. And Dave and Becky Drulitzer, who ran the competition from KCBS, they're lights out. They do a great job.
Sam Rockholt is in the chat. He said $1,000 went to the winner. I mean, maybe you don't even break even at $1,000.
Not for the guy who, rolling up in the trailer they're rolling up in. No, that's in the truck you're using. I don't know their financial situation, but the $1,000,
Well, you know how much $1,000 is. So you know how much you usually pay to do a competition, whether you're an hour away from home or longer than that. It's just more money.
If you get the Mr. Brisket box, you were $649 into the whole, just right there before fuel and everything.
I know we are coming to the end of the season here shortly, but is that still spooling up, or has it leveled off a bit as far as the success of the competition box?
I think we're plateauing now, but I'm still doing 170 thighs to ship out next week. I think we're going to get picked up on a lot of practicing guys practicing and thinking this is going to be something they can commit to and use next year. We had a guy take third at the Royal with a 180. We had a guy take third at the Jack with a brisket. So I think the more we get out, hey, we have these winning briskets, the more it'll continue to go. But it's definitely going to. I'd say in the next 2 weeks we'll see it drop.
We're making a correction here. Sam Rockholt was talking about the SCA being $1,000.
Yeah, $1,000 is your first place prize.
Yeah.
So there's $2,000 if you're doing a double, and then whatever it ends up being for the math to make out for 9th to 10th, because that's what we'd like to pay out.
How's the rub business here closing in 2023 and sauce business?
Sauce is great. Rub is a little slow. Sauce, I just shipped out 3 cases to one retailer, shipping out 2 more this week. Mr. Brisket, we just committed to a lot to grow, within the building itself with sauce. And I think sauce itself is going to take off more next year, more than rub. Rub's a hard one to get into.
Why doesn't Patterson stock your sauce?
I don't know. They said they have other sauces, but I looked and I really don't see anything that compares.
I didn't either. I was shocked they had your rub. Why wouldn't they just take the whole kit and caboodle? It's nonsense.
There's no shipping involved. Let me just drop off a case.
I'm not buying any more cider from them until they start bringing in the Go Big or Go barbecue sauce. Between the two, I would rather buy your sauce than the rub, if I'm being honest.
No, sales-wise points to that too. In general, we're selling a lot more sauce. I'm seeing a lot more teams, from that aspect of the business too, of being more successful with our sauce. And I understand that. There's a lot of rub choices out there that are better than mine. I think mine's great, but I know there are better choices out there too.
Do you want this to be a full-time job at some point? Go Big or Go Barbecue?
Yeah, at some point, we're
just through the product sales, or would you get into catering to supplement that money, or what?
I'd love to cater. We did some pop-ups with through Mr. Brisket this past. We did 2, I think, since the last time we were here with you, and the first one we sold out in an hour and a half. We sold 40 pounds of burnt ends, and half chickens and ribs. About the same, like half racks and half chickens. And so that was a crazy hour and a half. And then we did another one. It's a little slower, but we still sold out of burnt ends. And, and I like the work. It's just something I'm passionate about, and eventually, once we could figure out a way to do it, I'd like to do it on my own.
You don't want to get a restaurant, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I like a life. I did the restaurant thing.
You work at Mr. Brisket. What are you talking about?
Oh, we got good hours there compared to I manage restaurants. Yeah. No thanks.
Banker's hours at Mr. Brisket.
Pretty close.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Aaron, who not only suffered through some technical issues in the open, but through his segment there, craziness. But we'll work through the headset here. By the way, I hear it this time, okay? I can't not hear it now. The other one was worse that we switched out of. This one is better. But I can still hear it, so save the emails. Not even talking about it next week in the open, so don't even get me started. However, at the end of the show tonight, when Aaron leaves, I'm going right on that microphone over there and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. It's outrageous. Ceramic cooker talk time. More importantly, Primo Grills. PrimoGrill.com is the website to go to. They're only sold through dealers, so you have to find one near you. Go to PrimoGrill.com, find that dealer, and then visit them. Take a look at all the different size ovals that they have. I would suggest buying the extra large at a minimum. The one thing I hear time and time again from barbecuers just getting into it, especially, they get nervous with pricing and they buy at the minimum or buy down. And then they have buyer's remorse. Always buy up 1 or 2 sizes. I've never heard a barbecuer ever complain about having anything too big. It's always, I should have got the bigger one. I regret not getting the bigger one. Don't do that on the Primo especially. So I'm suggesting the XL. Make sure you get the deflector plates. They come in, I call them half moons, so you can leave one side completely open with fuel, or you can close off both ends of it if you want, do completely indirect, like with the place setter, like you'd see in the big green egg type thing. These are better because you can remove half, or you can have the whole thing covered. They have a whole bunch of other accessories for you to try. And then, especially now as we're getting into winter, at least in here in Cleveland and areas that experience colder weather, once the ceramics get heated up, this thing is a fuel miser. You're going to race through fuel when you have the bullet-styled smokers that aren't insulated. Maybe you're not using a smoking jacket. Obviously, a lot of the cheaper offset-type cookers are also going to fall victim to consuming way more fuel because now they got to keep the temperature that you're running at because it's just colder outside, so the fire needs to work harder. It's not as efficient. The ceramic cooker? No way, baby. This thing is absolutely fabulous. So, again, find one near you, PrimoGrill.com. That's PrimoGrill.com. Follow them on Facebook or Instagram. Everybody is now ready for a Primo, so find a dealer near you and pick one up shortly. Holiday season is coming around the corner, so whoop-de-doo and dickory-dock. We're back with Wes Wright from CookoutNews.com right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring. Connect via Bluetooth if you have to. Also compatible with a host of other smart speakers. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232. Great folks over at Fireboard. My next guest tonight, creator of CookoutNews.com website and the third Tuesday of the month regular guest. We welcome back our pal, Wes Wright. Wes, how are you, pal?
Good. How you doing, Greg?
We have a YouTube poll question of the week, as you know, Wes. So we're asking everybody, between the two, Which is the bigger barbecue story of 2023? The Memphis in May damage saga or the American Royal Open scoring saga?
I think the Memphis in May one's pretty surprising. I've been watching it unfold.
Yeah, this month after month after month, it's been unfolding.
Yeah, I think the losses that they claimed were pretty shocking, and having been involved in the events business before, I don't know how you lose that much money on an event. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting to watch, like a soap opera.
I saw some financials. I don't know if you saw the same thing. It appears that WREG is the only traditional news media outlet that has been given access to the Memphis and May side, and they said that last year the event lost $2.5 or $3 million. This is outside of the damage that happened this year. This thing seems like it's been a perennial loser the last couple of years, and the last time it was at Tiger Lane or Tiger Alley, which is where it's going to be next year, as voted on by the competition cooks. I know it was a financial loser because that was the first thing everybody was bitching about. I fear financial distress for Memphis in May in many regards.
Yeah, I think I saw a $3.5 million loss figure. So events that I've seen, you're usually making 30 to 50% of revenue. That's your margin. So I can't. One, I don't know how you lose that much money on an event, how you miscalculated that much if it's real. And then that's also one, not including those, the damages. But then, like, how do you who's paying for that every year? They're just people that don't care about their money, I guess. I don't know.
Before we talk about some other business stuff here, Wes, you were recently at the Big Green Egg Eggtoberfest. What's the event like, and what were your major takeaways from the weekend?
I thought it was a really cool event. I haven't been to a ton of barbecue related events, but the ones I've been to, they were a little different. This one was unique that it was started forever ago just by people that were passionate about Big Green Eggs, and they charge an admission fee, so it's not like other ones that you just come in for free food and beer. It was just a bunch of people that really liked egg products. And I mean, it was at a minor league baseball stadium, which was pretty awesome because one, they had the whole, infield and outfield covered with tents as well as the concourses. And it was a cool event too, because it's not like a wide open field. So you could just go sit down for a little bit in the bleachers and hang out. And, it was great. I had, my wife and kids there. It was a great time.
Were there any stars that you saw or you were surprised to see and had access to?
I didn't go and talk to anyone, but I saw Captain Ron there, which was neat because I watched some of his, YouTube Big Green Egg videos. So it was neat seeing him there.
Wes Wright joining us here on the show. Cookoutnews.com is his website. What do you know about the new CEO over at Big Green Egg, and what do you think he brings to the table to help Big Green Egg get into that next level of business potentially?
Yeah, I've talked to him a few times. He seems like a really good guy, and he has a background of building companies and working with companies, and also a background in food too, which is what you want. And I think when I look at the Big Green Egg brand, I feel like it's been, kind of coasting for a little while, and, it has a fantastic brand recognition. People love it. People are, like I said, are so passionate about it. And then, I think what he'll help do is just continue to grow it, put some, more effort in the right places and continue to build the brand because it deserves that, I feel like.
Wes, is 2024 poised to be the year that ceramics in general recapture the imagination of the backyard consumer?
I don't think it'll be 24. I think it'll be a little longer than that. I do see them expanding, but it might take a couple years.
Wes, this is Aaron, by the way. Aaron, this is Wes, cookoutnews.com. Go big, go barbecue. Aaron, do you think that 2024 is poised to be the year that ceramics recapture the imagination of the backyard cook?
No. I think the hardest part, like for me I haven't pulled a trigger on one. Obviously, I own a lot of grills. Is the affordability and the mobility of those ceramic cookers. Like for me, if I need to move it out of the way, I get afraid it's going to fall. And once it falls, what do?
Call me to come over and help you pick it up.
Yeah. Well, if it cracks or something like that. I mean, I like your Primo's cool. My friend had a Primo when I first started out. That was really nice. I've seen the eggs that hard fill. So,
Yeah, I think what'll help turn is I think forever, people have always thought of Big Green Egg as an expensive product, right? That was always a premium brand. But then you see Traeger releasing the new Ironwood at $2,000, and a lot of other grills are coming out at way more money than a Big Green Egg, and it'll still have that premium perception. But when you actually look at the price, it's comparable now. It's not like even a super premium grill at that price.
Any earnings surprises for you this time around that you've been hearing about?
Well, Camp Chef's parent they pre-released earnings. They didn't even release them yet, but they sold half their business. So they released a preview of their earnings and guided down for the year. So they cut for this, and this is for all their brands like Sims Fishing, all that, they Fox Racing, all that. But they said that they slashed revenue by $100 million and then brought down margin by 4 or 5%. And their guidance, because they said that inventory is going through slower than they thought with consumers buying less, and then they're also seeing more of a promotional environment, which is why they cut margin. So that's good for the people that need to buy a grill, because more promotions, especially with the holiday season coming up. But I'll be really interested to see, especially with Traeger, since they said they were through all their inventory problems. That was they had a big slide and everything on their last call. So theoretically, we should see a much better quarter, and we'll know within, probably a month or so.
I think a couple of weeks ago, I was being communicated to by a number of folks that just like to watch stocks or whatever, and they were like, whoa, Traeger is really close to becoming penny stock for real. I think they were at $2 and change or whatever it was. I don't know where it's recovered to recently, but are they in danger of getting delisted?
I don't think they're at that point yet, but it'll be interesting to see how the year finishes out. It's if the story they were telling in the last quarter continues and they surprise some people, then we'll see it probably go back up. But I think they have a little more runway, just because they took on debt so cheap, so they have some money to play with. It's funny, I didn't write an article about it, but there was another Weber lawsuit that just came out that it was for against the Weber board members, Byron Trott, who owns the parent company now of Weber and was an owner for a long time, saying that the whole IPO buyback was a sham. And so, it seems like they just continually have more lawsuits about that whole process.
RecTech released 3 new grills, I think, last week. So what can you tell me about those?
Yeah, so they released 5 in total.
Oh, 5.
So 2 were more interesting. One was a pellet fueled griddle, which is kind of an interesting idea, and I was curious if that was the route Traeger was going to go with their flat rock. And then they released a dual chamber pellet grill. So it's like a side by side grill, but as opposed to using 2 different fuel sources, they have one side that's for low and slow, and another it's a smaller capacity for searing. And then they released another 3 grills in just various sizes. I'm getting a little confused by their lineup, because it seems like they have a grill for every 100 square inches of cooking area. So it seems like too many SKUs to me.
Aside from thinking it's a neat idea, why would I want a pellet fueled griddle?
Well, so they claim that you get smoke flavor from it, and they said at their RecTech Fest they showed that. I don't know. I'd have to try it out, because I don't think you can get the BTUs out of a single pellet chamber unless you're, it's massively sized or something. And when you're grilling you're doing a lot of breakfast. You're throwing, frozen hash browns onto a hot griddle plate. You need power to get that back up to temp. So I don't know. I mean, I'm skeptical about that aspect of it myself.
Aaron, you're a consumer. What do you think about a pellet fired griddle?
I saw it and I was equally confused, just because I own, 3 or 4 pellet grills. I'm like, how is, that size fuel pot going to heat up a whole griddle? I mean, I'm assuming it looks like it's like a 36-inch griddle.
Yeah, 36 inches.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have a 36-inch griddle. I have a pellet grill about the same size. I don't know how it's going to heat up, the left and the right, maybe the middle, but I don't know how it disperses that, that heat.
So I saw in the picture of the article that you wrote, Wes, that it seems more in the center. There were either no or tighter holes, which was probably to diffuse the heat away from the very center, because that's probably where you would get your biggest hot spot. And then as that deflector plate worked out and got bigger, there were bigger holes to shoot the heat out to the sides. I have no idea from a thermodynamic standpoint how well or efficient that's going to work. Here's my concern about a pellet-fired griddle. Can I use the pellets at Menards for $5 for a 40-pound bag, like home heating pellets? Because if I have to use wood, like food-grade wood pellets, like, I don't know, anybody's buying to put in your pellet cooker, that thing is highly expensive to run.
I didn't think about that, but that does make sense.
Yeah, I'd probably still use food grade pellets. I mean, it's
but I don't think you want to use those. I don't know if there's a danger issue with those because it's like scrap shit wood or whatever. But the food grade pellets are like $1 a pound. So you're spending $20 for a bag of food grade wood pellets. I think it was an 18-pound hopper on that griddle. So depending on how hot you're running it, I mean, you're going to get through there pretty quick. It's going to be very expensive to run. I don't know if anybody's even looking at that.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, I found like my trick for pellets. You can buy 40-pound bags of Pit Boss at Walmart for pretty cheap.
Yes.
That's what I usually
at
do.
Lowe's too.
That's what I buy.
Yeah, and I don't really notice that much flavor difference, so I'm like whatever. But I mean, you're going to be running it at 350 plus the whole time, and it's got to heat up a plate. So yeah, you're going to be churning through pellets for sure.
Well, I mean, because a refill of propane's what, $20, somewhere around there. And that runs the whole summer. For me, from just regular griddling. So that's definitely something to think about.
Green Mountain Grills launched a new Prime 2.0 grill, or new line, I should say. So you have the reemergence of Ledge Peak and Trek. What do you know about the new release? Yeah,
the new release looked pretty cool. They switched to DC power for more control and safer power, and then they had their rack system for different foods. I thought the neatest thing though was their infrared burner that they have on the side. It's a electric infrared burner for searing steaks and things like that, which I'd be interested to see it like work in person or on a video, because I'm curious how quickly it heats up and how well. But I think that's a great idea if it performs anywhere close to like a gas infrared burner.
Do you think Green Mountain Grill has the ability to recapture some market share? I know it's been a horrific year for them for any number of reasons, not the least of which was losing their manufacturing partner, going out of business there in China, and then having to source a new one, getting product in, all this stuff. And now Jason's out on the Green Mountain Grill tour of, hey, we're sorry, or hey, come aboard while we're getting some new stuff in. What do you think their outlook is for next year?
I think some people are going to catch on to that burner. That's, a common complaint, whether it's real or not, about pellet grills that you can't sear. And to me, that's a big differentiator. I can tell you that article on my site is really ripping along. So people are interested in it and reading it. I mean, how about you? Would you buy, is that something to you that is appealing, to get a grill with an infrared burner?
Honestly, I'm the worst guy to ask that question to, because I have a Primo and I have 2 other gas grills. So does it really matter to me? No, but also I don't really give a shit about tech. I don't really give a shit about a lot of stuff that people seem to be interested in these days, or it's certainly not in my realm of importance to matter when it comes to buying. But I agree with you. I think people see it, probably think it's going to be cooler than whatever else is out there, and it's going to do way better than it would be to even have access to a fire pot. I have an Oklahoma Joe Rider DLX, and I could slide it open to sear, And it does an okay job, but it's certainly not changing my life. I get a better sear off of a gas grill or off the Primo by far. And this one looks like it can really do a bang-up job. And I think it heats up in like less than a minute or maybe 2, maybe less than that. So, and like rifle hot. So maybe you can also dial back the temperature, use it as a side burner that actually works. So if you want to boil water or put a cast iron skillet on there, I know Traeger has the induction burner, whatever they have with their top of the line Timberline, but this certainly could be competing, or maybe they're so different they're not even competing.
Yeah, I like the infrared burner more than the induction burner. I don't usually, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I like make sauces in my kitchen and then grill outside. I don't really like any grill that has a side burner. I never really use it. But you know, I think a lot of it is you're fighting perception, right? So everyone thinks that pellet grills don't make enough smoke and they don't sear. And I mean, you buy a $30 cast iron pan and you can sear just fine. And to me, the smoke flavor is enough. I'm not, somebody that needs to be just burping up smoke for hours. So, but that's the perception. So if you can change that perception, then you can theoretically sell more grills and more than your competitor.
You still using that Franklin?
Yeah, I cooked a beer can chicken on it just a couple days ago, and
isn't that a waste of wood?
Cookies too. It was just kind of fun. I only had a couple hours, so rather, I don't have time to do like a brisket very often. So it was just, I think I did it on Sunday. I'm going to post a video on Instagram, but it turned out fantastic. It was great.
I saw one of those at Hartville when we were down there for the, Grill Fest. That thing is just insane.
Yeah, just the temperature holding on it. What's great about it is if you're great at offsets and you're a pro, you're going to love it just because it's so, stripped down and basic. Or if you're somebody just getting into offsets, it holds temperature so easily that's the thing to get. Don't get something cheaper that you'll just hate your life trying to run it. It works so well.
Wes Wright joining us here on the show. The website, of course, cookoutnews.com. Make sure you are hitting that up multiple times a week, see what he's writing about, and you can catch Wes right here, third Tuesday of every month. Wes, always appreciate the time. We'll see you in November.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
See you, Wes.
Can you believe what I just said? See you in November.
It's crazy.
People laugh at me in January and I say 2023 rapidly coming to a close. Guess what? Joke's on you. Rapidly coming to a close. There's no doubt about it. So Wes Wright is taking us into the end of the first hour, which we appreciate his visits and insight, of course. I'm always anxious to get his feedback on that Franklin offset. I don't have one. I wouldn't mind one, but I don't know if I have a lot of space to put it in the side yard at the moment. Aaron Huntleman, I almost said Aaron Franklin. Aaron Huntleman is sitting in for the first hour here, and he'll be here for the second hour as well. We're going to wrap up the first hour, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
I want to thank Wes Wright for joining us. Last segment, cookoutnews.com is his website. Once again, that's cookoutnews.com. He also has a weekly newsletter called The Weekend Refuel that hits your inbox on Saturday mornings. So if you miss out on his website during the course of the week, make sure you sign up for that, and then you can get caught up on the top news stories and then run on over and catch up with everything else. But always got his finger on the very impressive website. Like, he knows a lot. Yeah, I get a lot of. He's been a great pickup for me on the show from a regular guest perspective.
And he follows me.
Even better.
Yeah.
You know who else is in the room tonight? Garden State Barbecue, right there. Julie, you follow Garden State Barbecue?
I'm not sure.
You should. His recipes are banging. You definitely don't follow him. You would have picked that up immediately. All right, we are heading to the second hour. Refresh your libations. Aaron Huntleman from Go Big or Go Barbecue sitting in studio for the entire show here. And we will be back in just a minute or so as we get ready for the second hour. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.